What a busy weekend of sports.
Yes, it was.
I mean, we had high school sports. We had the ALCS, the NLCS, the WNBA finals.
That's right.
We also had NFL football.
Yep.
Life is good. I love it when sports are busy.
Oh, my gosh.
That's
The
what I live for.
NHL is in full swing.
Yes, we are.
And the NBA is coming up very, very soon.
Yeah, Tuesday. Tuesday. I'm pretty sure they tip off. But let's stick to high school sports. And welcome to the Covered Cal High podcast. I'm your host, Jake Vanderbrook, alongside Tyler Flibson, Adrian Soriano. Okay, so week 8 now in the books. League play, diving right into the middle of it. And we had some crazy games starting out in Concord with De La Salle rolling past SRV, winning 42-14. And sticking with the East Bay League, California in an offensive shootout, or as Adrian Soriano likes to say, offensive fireworks, beating Monte Vista 50-36.
All right. Well, I was at Menlo on Friday. MA1, Menlo Atherton. Da Bears, 21-18 over the Menlo Knights. And this one was a barn burner. 49-7 Piedmont Highlanders over the Irvington Vikings.
Barn burner and a half there. I don't even know there's any ashes left after that one. All right, we go on over to Sacred Heart Cathedral and Valley Christian, and kept it close, but Valley Christian does take down SHC 21-7. And then Woodside and South City. South City gets it done 29-17, as I mentioned before. Very gritty team, small team at that. They get it done against a good Woodside team.
Over to the Bay Valley League now. Liberty rolling past Deer Valley, winning 42-7. And then Pittsburgh, they had its way against Heritage, beating those Heritage Patriots 45-0.
And then we go to Belmont. Man, what is going on with my Trojans? 42-38 Carmont over Milpitas. Man, those Trojans cannot stop the run. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed.
Scots are a real deal.
But that's a discussion for another day. Moreau Catholic, 37-33 over San Leandro.
That's
so
a good one.
Impressive win for those Mariners in Hayward.
And then how about this one? You want to talk about barn burners, Adrian? We got Mount Diablo, or Concord, Mount Diablo. Mount Diablo puts up 63 points to 13 over Concord. Barn burner and a half. And then we got El Cerrito and Salesian, where El Cerrito gets it done 28-7. And speaking of El Cerrito, there's a little controversy going on.
There is. So if you're looking at max preps, you only see one win for those El Cerrito Gauchos.
Yep.
That's right.
It was supposed to be 6, but El Cerrito had to forfeit their first 6 games of the regular season due to players being ineligible. A very tough situation for those Gauchos. And it's interesting because according to the Max Preps rankings for the NCS, they have that 5 slot as of October 20th. They have the 5 slot for being in the open D1 bracket.
Yep.
So we wonder, is that going to change?
It has to. I mean, it absolutely has to, because, I mean, they're playing with players these past, so many wins that they've had with guys that are ineligible, who are unable to play, and that makes all the difference. So assuming those guys are out now and done, and they're not going to be playing, you can't keep them there. It makes no sense.
Well, first of all, big shout out to Joseph Dykes for breaking this news on a Saturday night.
Wow.
On a after the game.
I was watching the ALCS at that time.
So was I was at San Leandro at my aunt's house watching the game, and all of a sudden my phone starts, beeping. Oh, so El Cerrito has to forfeit their first 6 games. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and you wonder what's going to be the situation now. So that was a forfeit, and remember, El Cerrito played Amador Valley back in week 1. So what does that mean for the rankings? Because right now, Amador Valley is just on the outside looking in. They have, I believe, the 10 spot.
That's right. Yep.
For the Max Preps rankings, because it's Liberty 9, Amador Valley 10, and then you got Windsor 11 and Clayton Valley number 12. So does Amador Valley move up into that bracket or not? So there's a lot of questions that we don't know regarding the Max Preps rankings.
And we're under the impression, too, that these ineligible players that did play were due to not grades, but because of
Because they
eligibility
transferred, yeah.
Right, exactly. So my question is, what happens then to these players then too? Are they, suspended the rest of the season? Are they without play? And who does this fall upon? Is this an athletic director thing? Is this a coaching thing? There's a lot of unanswered questions, I feel like.
Yeah, so the athletic director
Is the head coach.
Is the head
Oh,
coach
it is over there. I
in
was
this
not aware.
situation.
At
And as
Elster.
of right now, he has been placed on administrative leave. So that's the situation where we're at right now.
Wow.
But El Cerrito, though, they can still win league and still
Make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they're not, it's not over, you
Yeah.
know?
No, absolutely
So
not.
it's one of those situations where they have to forfeit their first 6 games. And then you got the rankings that you got to take into consideration, because it's not just a tough situation for El Cerrito as a whole over there. It's tough for the NCS to figure out where they should be placed in the playoffs.
I don't think it's gonna be tough because they'll.
So
El
do
Cerrito-
they stick at the open D1
No,
bracket?
they will. I don't think they should be in the open D1 bracket. I think they'll go back to whatever base division they were at to start the season.
Okay.
And they can go up to or down to depending on how they do the rest of the year. But no, I don't think they should be in the open D1 bracket. I know they're a good team, but hey, officially, you guys lost your first 6 games of the season. Officially, because you guys broke the rule, the transfer rule. Right?
But some people may not look at that because, I don't know, because you can make the argument where you can say, hey, El Cerrito should be in the D1 open bracket based on the level of talent that they have. I mean, we saw that when they put up a fight against De La Salle. And even though Spartans were making a case saying, hey, El Cerrito's for real. So it's going to be interesting on how that situation is going to hold up. And keep in mind, and if they do go back to the division, they were in D2 last year. And remember, they went on to win the NCS D2 title last year over Windsor.
Well, maybe that's just the way it's gonna be for El Cerrito this year, man.
Yep.
It's unfortunate, but hey, man, rules are rules, and you can't break them.
Right.
And we'll keep you posted on it too. We'll be
Exactly.
watching it very closely. So
Absolutely. And so this was a really entertaining game Friday night. Acalanes, Clayton Valley.
Who was at that game?
That was our producer, Nikon.
Nikon.
Seduce.
Mr. Producer Man behind
Yes,
the
he
camera.
was. And a great game. So Clayton Valley scores late. So you would think that they would kick the extra point.
They said no.
And
no
they
way.
said no.
I
They
like it.
went for 2. They didn't convert. And Acalanes, they go on the beat. Clayton Valley 28-27.
I think with games like that, going for 2 is a power move. It really is. And on top of that, go to win it. You're at the point of the season. Again, we've talked about this before, getting into league play and whatnot, and late into the season, I was to make our way from mid to late. Is that you got to be able to make those, and that goes and show and win games.
Yep.
Because you're going to be put in positions in playoffs where you need to go for 2, and you want to be able to see with high pressure moments if you could go down there and go get it done.
Yeah, Acalanes, they're working with a young team.
And
They
they're
got
still getting it done.
a sophomore quarterback, Tyler Winkles. He was able to get the job done. He looked really comfortable under center based on the highlights. He threw, I believe he had 4 touchdown passes, and then Nico White had 2 of those touchdown passes. And it looked like Acalanes, they were running a little RPO setup, and
Love
they
the
were
RPO.
able to move the ball down the field efficiently.
I think it's 2 young quarterbacks. If I'm not mistaken, I think Clayton Valley has a freshman starting quarterback. Yeah, Nikon confirmed. Freshman. So you had a
Yep.
freshman on varsity starting going against a sophomore. So, I mean, it's 2 young teams there, especially at the quarterback position where that's usually a more experienced role. So
Yeah. And Clayton Valley, they had a great receiver named Tony Keck. He had a great game. Obviously, when you have a freshman quarterback that is dealing and, Tony's making great catches and he's able to extend those plays with yards after the catch. And we saw that late in the game. He caught a nice little short pass and he was able to move down the field efficiently, giving Clayton Valley a chance to, possibly tie or even win the game. I mean, in that situation, do you blame them for going for 2?
No, I love the play. I love
Go
the play.
for it.
I think were they on the road, Nikon?
No, Clayton Valley was home.
Okay,
Clayton Valley was home, but the run game is so good. So I was surprised on that 2-point conversion. that you decide to throw it when you have Hazon Jackson running like a
Yeah.
beast.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you go for the win, man. You go for the win. And listen, dude, there's only 3 weeks left of the regular season in football. Hey,
Well, that's what I'm
every
saying.
league win counts.
Yeah, you got to go down there, go get it done, and you got to take the aggressive play sometimes. And so I think that was the right decision. And, and I think you could go to bed as a coach knowing that, hey, I could sleep at night knowing I went for the win. There's going to be things that they're going to have to look at of what they did right and wrong. But to be trailing, they had all the, excuse me, they had all the momentum. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now we switch over to some of our previews. Valley Christian, St. Ignatius.
Oh, boy.
A WCAL showdown. So when these two teams played last year, St. Ignatius was able to win on the road, beating Valley Christian 15-14. Adrian, could this be another low-scoring game Friday night?
I believe so. And don't forget, they also played in the playoffs. And SI won that game too last season.
yeah.
So, SI, they're coming off a tough loss.
one,
Tyler,
yeah.
you were there. I know.
We won't dive into that too much time-wise,
No.
but yeah, it's definitely was a tough one. So SI definitely got their tail tucked between their legs. I think after that one against St. Francis, given that's a good team, but they had every right to go win that game. So now they're going against another DubCal rival, I'd argue.
So here we
You
go.
know? And it's we have this is what you talked about last week, right? There's a chance for a 3-way tie here or a 2-way tie for
Yeah.
first place in the
This is
DubCal.
big. This is really big, man, because, hey, we already know. Should I just say they're going to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Valley Christian's going to do that, right? And SI's defense played well in the first half, and they kind of faltered a little bit in the second half. And, here we go. Let's see what happens, man. I think Valley Christian's going to, pull one out in San Francisco. I
Early
think
prediction.
so, man. I just
Oh,
think
they're
their
at home
defense is
again.
no, Valley Christian's on the road.
Yeah, SI's at home.
Yeah,
again.
SI's
Sorry,
at
that's
home
what I meant.
again, but
Yeah.
man, Valley Christian's defense is just so good.
This is going to be a very physical game.
Absolutely, it will be.
And it all starts up at the line of scrimmage. Who can dominate the line of scrimmage? And, with St. Ignatius, as you mentioned, Adrian, they were able to stop the run in the first half against St. Francis. They need to keep that up. That's going to be the key for St. Ignatius. And then for Valley Christian, you got to trust your run game. Macklemore, Leggett. I mean, they're going to be the key assets for this game. And then, obviously, with Eric Scherenberg, what is he going to dial up defensively? The stop Soren Hummel and Jarius Hogan. So I think this is going to be a real low-scoring game. I think it's going to be even lower than the score from last season.
Really?
I do.
You
I
thinking
do.
like a
Low.
10-7?
How low can you go?
I can
Like a
Come on.
I could see this being a 13-10 game.
13-10, okay.
I'm not going to tell you who wins this game because I was awful with my predictions a few weeks back, but no more of that. No more of that.
I want to see Hummel bounce back because they were taking shots, and the thing they just couldn't quite connect. With them being Hummel and his receivers, because they were there, the throws were there, the routes were there. Against a good St. Francis defense, they just couldn't quite connect and bring that ball down. So I want to see him have a bounce back game, and I think this is the one.
Yeah, no, this will be a good one. Friday, 7 p.m. kickoff, I believe.
Well, I thought it was 5 when I checked, but we'll see what
They keep
happens.
changing it because
see what
last
happens.
week it was supposed to be
4:30?
a 4:30
4:30 on Max
kickoff.
Preps.
And then they heard me and said, hey, we need to move this game to 7 o'clock because of the neighbors, all the tomfoolery that's happening over there. And then they moved the game to 7. So we really appreciate SI.
We do.
Watching
We love
the
SI.
podcast.
We love SI. We do love SI. Even though I predicted against them this week, we love SI, man. We love the fans, and man, just the players are just so nice to us, and
They're so into it.
Yeah.
They're so into it.
Yeah, especially their fan base too, the student section. I mean, they're into it over there. Their pink game, everything last week. So yeah, it's a lively crowd. It's fun being there.
I am going to predict something over here for this next game. It's Half Moon Bay San Mateo. This is going to be a really quick football game Friday night.
Is it?
That's my prediction. That's all you're getting from me.
all I
who's
get?
shooting this
Come
game
on.
though?
I am. And it's our Chick-fil-A sportsmanship game.
Oh, so chicken
And
sandwiches.
Asian-
Chicken
there.
sandwiches.
No, it's Jake.
No, I
Jake
just said. I just said
you said
it.
that. Oh,
No,
whoops.
I'm
I
at
gotta
Bishop
this
O'Dowd.
right here. I got
Come on,
this right here.
Tyler.
I know.
Tyler, I'm at Bishop O'Dowd on Friday.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a good one though. I'm really looking forward to it. Both teams, it's pretty run-heavy teams, both of them, right?
Both teams run heavy. Both teams 6-1. Big battle for first place in the standings in the Peninsula League. So, I mean, man, this is going to be fun because, both these teams, they, you never know where the ball is going to go to. And it's just that formation of where it's set up. It's almost like the veer almost with what De La Salle runs. It's like what Wilcox runs.
Sure.
So you just never know. Is it going to be a quarterback keeper? Is it going to go to the running back? It could go to the fullback, and you just don't know where. Or it could be some big pass down the field. So, San Mateo and Half Moon Bay, they are really good at, getting a little sneaky with the play calling in terms of where the ball is going to go to. Half Moon Bay, they did take a tough loss. They only lost by 1 point to Sequoia. Yep. They are looking to bounce back. That's going to be a big game for those Cougars.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think this is okay. Maybe I'll make another prediction.
Oh,
not with the teams, but okay. I did say this is going to be a run heavy game. I think this game will end this is a 7 p.m. kickoff. This game will probably end at 9:10, and offensive fireworks.
Fireworks. And chicken
Offensive
sandwiches.
fireworks, even though it's a running game?
Yeah, I can
Wow,
see
okay.
it. I could see
So
it.
no defense at all.
Why are fireworks one-sided?
Well, I
it
mean,
can only
if it's
be,
but if you think about it, it's a running. It's a.
You
Both
think
teams
fireworks
run
like
the ball.
shot in the air so the ball's flying
Well,
through the air?
no,
Is that what
no,
you're
no.
thinking, or-
Both
oh, no.
teams run the ball, so I mean, they're not gonna have 80-yard touchdowns every play,
You don't?
right? So I mean, they're
Do you
gonna
know that?
choose some clock,
Is that
right?
a fact.
Okay, hey, listen, it's a nice prediction.
We'll leave it up to Jake, and then we'll circle back
Jake.
next Monday.
Yeah,
if it
run
had
a run
fireworks.
heavy game, high scoring affair. Calling it right now. That's all
Okay.
the predictions.
Okay.
There you go. I'm not going to tell you who wins this game.
Book it,
But
quote
we're
it.
going to move on to the volleyball poll.
Chaos, chaos, chaos.
More
Eruption.
chaos.
Oh, my goodness.
Especially in the East Bay League.
Yep.
And Tuesday night is the final week of the regular season before they start the league tournament.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm not gonna show the poll in the 3-shot now because Nikon covers it with the graphics.
I've only
so-
been trying to tell you that for about 8 weeks now.
I
but
tried my
that's okay.
best. I really tried, man.
Yep. No, please.
Okay.
You do great.
Well,
Rooting for you.
all right. Well, all right. So Branson is still number 1, man.
Go Bulls.
So they were
Did
2-0
you say
last
go
week.
Wolves?
Go Bulls.
Oh, go Bulls. I was
wait,
going to say.
you said Wolves or Bulls?
Bulls.
Okay, like Chicago Bulls?
Bulls. What
Okay.
is Bulls?
Okay.
What
well,
are Bulls?
Branson number 1. They were 2-0. They've beat San Rafael and San Marin. So now they are now in the Marin County League tournament.
Yep.
So they are the number 1 seed. So they won't play until the semifinals.
As they should be.
And I think that's like a Thursday, I think. I'm not exactly sure. Midi number 2. Also 2-0. They beat SI and Presentation. St. Francis number 3. Also beat Presentation and SI. Number 4, James Logan. Still undefeated in the league, man. And I don't think they've lost a set. Still in league. So, like I said, dark horse. Very dark horse, guys. Marin Catholic number 5. Terra Linda and San Rafael. They beat both of those teams, and I think they're the number 2 seed in the Marin County League tournament. Redwood number 6. They beat Novato and Terra Linda. Also, I think they're number 3 seeds. So they're not playing in the play-in round, but they're playing in the quarterfinal round. And so now here comes the chaos,
Yep.
right, of the East Bay League. So Foothill number 7.
Yep.
They beat Dublin and Livermore. So, but again, they're playing Amateur Valley this week as their last league game before their league tournament. Amateur Valley at number 8.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you why.
Why?
They beat Livermore, as they should, but they beat San Ramon Valley in 5. Now, we'll get
Yeah.
to that in real quick.
The Amateur
Now,
Valley's starting to pick it up.
Yeah, they are.
And San Ramon Valley is number 9, who beat Carondelet. Jake, you were at that game, and
Yeah.
I was helping you out,
Yep.
right? Then they lose Amateur Valley in 5 sets. I I cannot believe that at all.
The league where you just never know what's
Never
gonna
know.
happen.
I know.
And then Carondelet, number 10, lost to San Ramon Valley, but beat Doherty Valley, and they had a tournament last weekend, so they went undefeated in that tournament. But still, man.
Yeah.
So now I think it's Foothill, San Ramon Valley, and Carondelet all at like 10-1.
all tied at 10-2.
Or 10-2.
Amador Valley is just right behind them. So you
So-
mentioned round 2 of the Battle of Pleasanton for Amador Valley Foothill. That's going to be played on Tuesday. Carondelet, they play California.
And San Ramon Valley plays Monte Vista.
Yeah, and you know Monte Vista is going to give them a fight.
Yep.
It's a big rivalry game.
See, here's the thing, though. Is it really a league championship? Because they divide it into 2 different divisions. So
They
the
do.
only- yeah, so, but still, hey, this is going to be an interesting Tuesday, man.
It should be, yeah. Early in the
boy.
week.
I could, yeah, I mean, I want to see what Monte Vista can do against San Ramon Valley. I think SRV could possibly win this match, but I think it could go to 4 or 5 sets.
I think it's going to go 5 sets.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a rivalry game like that, it's always entertaining. It's Danville, you
Yep.
know.
Love it.
So you're always in for a treat with those rivalries, and yeah, I could see that going to 5 sets, and then and what are we going to see from Amador Valley?
I think that's going to 5 sets, too.
And Amador Valley's starting to pick it up. So the last time we shot Amador Valley Foothill dominated, winning in 3 sets, and here we go. And now Amador Valley with some statement wins where they went on to beat San Ramon Valley in 5 sets. And then the week prior, they beat Carondelet in 3 sets.
See, that's more impressive to me, is they beat Carondelet in 3 sets, right? I get it. San Ramon Valley, they beat them in 5 sets.
Charlotte Kelly is outstanding. Outstanding. Cal Poly commit. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets 20, 25 kills in the match.
Holy smokes.
You know what? The NCS, they start playoffs next Tuesday.
Yep.
So here we go, man.
Yep.
Amador Valley is probably the hottest team right now going into the playoffs. So that is huge. Huge.
So let me ask you this, though. Okay, so because there's a possibility that we could see a 3-way or a 2-way tie for first place in the East Bay League regular season. Now, come tournament time, where the winner of the tournament, where could you see them in the NCS D1
Or
bracket?
Well, I think whoever wins the league tournament is probably going to be in the open. They'll be like the number.
I don't
2
think
or 3 seed.
NCS volleyball has an open. I think
No,
it's just D1.
No, I think they do.
Do they really?
So I checked the section website last night.
Okay.
And yeah, they actually do have an open division. So whoever wins the league tournament title, and we already know who's going to be in the tournament. It's going to be Carondelet and San Ramon Valley from the Mountain Division,
Yep.
and they have, I think it's Foothill and Amador Valley in the Valley Division.
Yep.
Right. So we already know who's going to be in the league tournament later this week, but whoever wins that tournament, I think will be the number 3 seed at best. Can you put them over? Let's assume it's Branson and Marin Catholic in their tournament final, right?
Or even Redwood.
Or even Redwood, right? Can you put them over Branson or Marin? I don't think so, right? So,
These
man.
polls stay moving.
Yeah.
It
Stay
will
moving.
move, and I think we will find out the brackets next this coming Sunday. Yeah,
Yeah.
At
We're
least
here.
for the NCS. At least for the NCS.
Yep.
The CCS, they're still going
Yeah.
until.
And speaking of the CCS, this is a huge West Bay Foothill Division showdown. Tuesday night, Mercy of Burlingame taking on Sacred Heart Prep for first place.
Wow.
It's huge.
That's
It's
a huge game.
humongous.
It's a huge game. I will be there. And, I could see this match going to 5 sets.
We have not covered either of these 2 teams yet, right? And that who's scheduling these games? That's me. So
There's a
shame
lot-
on me for that.
There's
Shame
a
on
lot
me
of
for
young
that.
talent for both sides. both sides. So because SHP, they had a lot of seniors last year.
Yeah.
And they all a good chunk of them, they went to play volleyball at D1 schools. One went to Boston College, one went to Utah, and that both teams are really talented, and the talent is there, and this is a young program, so
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. So the game's going to be played at Sarah High School.
Yeah.
Do they not have a gym?
Honestly, I can't answer that. I've never been to Mercy High School in Burlingame, right? I mean, they probably don't have a gym if
That's
they're
bizarre.
playing
Why-
the game at Sarah. Now, I don't want to. We don't want to assume anything, right? Because
Right.
we've never been at the schools. So hey, it's gonna be a good game, and hey, CCS playoffs is also around the corner, man.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens, man.
Could you see one of those two teams possibly making it into the open or D1 bracket, or?
That's really tough, right? I mean, so I guess we can preview it a little bit now, right? Midi and St. Francis, they're the number 1 and 2, and,
Right.
and SI is probably in that bracket.
Yeah,
right?
they'll probably be a mid round or 4
Palo
or 5.
Alto. I don't know if Robert's probably gonna get me on this. Palo Alto, Pali. They're probably gonna be in the open division.
Hey, or you could just do this.
You can score. So they're probably going to be in the open division, and maybe Salinas.
Yeah.
I haven't been really paying attention to their league just because they're just out of our area, right? So, maybe they will have someone, whoever wins this game tomorrow night. So,
Yeah,
We will see.
we will see. And now over to the football poll. So, Adrian, you said
favorite.
last week that if El Cerrito blows out Salesian, they were going to be.
Man almighty.
You were going to
how
move
that
them up in the
aged.
poll.
well,
Then we had some.
They moved all right.
Then we had some news that we found out that that does affect their first 6 games of the regular season.
okay, well, so I was saying earlier, I was at San Leandro at my aunt's house watching the Yankees, and the news breaks out, and Aubrey, who was at the game,
She was.
right, El Cerrito Salesian, and I think she went to the Stanford game, and man, how things work out for us on Saturday. The news breaks, Aubrey didn't cut her game yet, right? So the news broke at the perfect time, so we're able to make adjustments and all that stuff. And initially, I had El Cerrito at 7. I'll just say it now. I knew they were gonna beat Salesian. I think they just have so much talent over there in El Cerrito. And then news breaks out, and everything just goes into chaos. So here we go. We'll go over the top 10. De La Salle and Pitt, 1 and 2, right? De La Salle is playing Monte Vista this week, and Pittsburgh is playing Liberty this week. Hopefully, it's a much closer game than last week for Pitt. No, we love Heritage, man. I love your Dutch Bros like a mile away. But, I mean, that's a barn burner, respectfully.
Pittsburgh Liberty, the barn burner?
No. The Heritage game last
okay.
week. I think this game will be closer.
It's gonna be it's
Yeah,
gonna be
it'll be close.
closer than.
I think that's my game. I'm looking
And,
forward to
that
that.
is your
I
game.
think so. Yeah.
Oh, is that your game?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Another tri-tip sandwich
Is
on
it
the
at
way.
Is that a Pitt?
It's at Pitt, I believe.
Better get a tri-tip sandwich
we
again.
already know I did
I'm
one.
a big
so
fan
do
of
it
the
again.
tri-tip. I mean, if you ask me, I think the tri-tip is better at Pittsburgh than Valley Christian.
Whoa,
You
hot
know,
take.
Valley Christian doesn't
Hot
even
take
have it
season.
anymore.
Well, they don't have it anymore, but
Well, maybe I
actually,
could be wrong.
Last year last year Valley Christian, they had tri-tip for half of the season, and then they had food trucks for the other half for
yeah,
all
it's
of
been
their
food
home
trucks.
games.
It's been food trucks every time I've covered Valley Christian at home. So hopefully,
I feel like
next
you should make a request to the AD about that.
To Valley?
week,
Yeah.
if they have the tri-tip, I'll buy it. If they don't, hey, what can I do? What can
I'm
we
gonna have
do?
to tell the Pitt Barbecue guys that I made a shout out to their tri-tip sandwich for my last crumble game there.
Yeah,
Maybe
sponsor
they'll-
the podcast.
Oh, hey, that would be nice.
I
Right?
was looking for a tri-tip sponsorship instead, just a one singular sandwich, single time. But sure, let's go the whole podcast. I definitely am not selfish. Moving on.
Moving on, St. Francis number 3 because they beat St. Ignatius, a comeback
Sure.
win.
Great
20
win for St. Francis,
know.
and that's the definition of making second half adjustments.
27 unanswered points.
It is crazy. 13-0 at half, and they go on to score 27 at half.
And now they are playing Sacred Cathedral this week.
They got that one.
Cardinal Newman number 4. They beat Rancho. No, they did beat Rancho Cotati. They beat Rancho Cotati 38-8, and now they're playing San Marin.
Good San Marin team.
Valley Christian number 5. They beat Sacred Heart Cathedral, as we mentioned earlier in the podcast, and they're at SI. So, oh boy, buckle up, boys. That's gonna be a good game, man. And Robert's at that game, and I'm jealous.
What are you?
Jealous.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Los
Took 'em out of my
Gatos number 6 beat Sacred Heart Prep 42-10, and now they're hosting Menlo.
Ooh.
I like that matchup.
Shout out to Menlo, man. They're always so nice to me.
Are they?
Yeah, every time I've covered them, always nice to me, man.
Didn't you get a parking ticket?
Man, freaking Menlo College,
Oh.
man. Menlo,
I
so
don't know if
everybody parked at that parking lot, and I was the only one who got a parking ticket.
Jake, I don't
man.
think that wound has even scabbed over yet. You really
Come on,
just
man.
come on, let
That's
the bleeding
terrible.
stop.
Hey,
Let the
but you know
bleeding
what?
stop.
Listen, if it means the Yankees winning the World Series, that's fine with me, man.
Oh,
That's cool with
jeez.
me. Shout out to the Yankees, man.
That was some tomfoolery out of you. That was a whole lot of Tommy foolery.
All right, well, so now you wonder, why didn't I mention San Ramon Valley yet? Well, they dropped down to number 7. They lost to De La Salle 42-14.
You always say if you lose to the top team, you don't move.
Well,
No,
you
you
moved
moved
down, but
down.
not.
But I mean,
Plummet.
but unfortunately, you look back at these teams: St. Francis win, Cardinal Newman win, Valacushion win,
I think it's valid.
Los Gatos win. So I mean, can you put
SRV just couldn't get into a groove.
No.
They really couldn't.
and Jake,
De
you
La
were there,
Salle-
right?
Yeah, I mean De La Salle, they just hit the ground running. I'm like, dang, 28-0 after 1. Oh boy.
So I mean, that right there is enough, right? They
right.
got off to a bad start and never recovered.
I
So,
just don't know if there's 6 other teams in the Bay Area that are better than SRV.
maybe Los Gatos. Maybe Los Gatos is not better than SRV.
You can make a
right?
case
You
for
can make
El
a case for that.
Cerrito, but
Well-
with their situation.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there right now. We're
na,
getting there right now. So California number 8, they beat Monte Vista 50-36. Now that, like I said earlier, offensive fireworks, and they're bye this week, so they're not playing. I think they're playing De La Salle next week, on the road or at home for California. St. Ignatius drops down to number 9. Again, cannot give up 27 unanswered points. Cannot do that.
I'd say that's less than ideal.
It's less than ideal, but again, it's St. Francis, right? They made adjustments, and they're hosting Valley Christian this week. Once again, I'm jealous that Robert has that game. And Marin Catholic at number 10. They beat Vintage 20-0, and they are playing Rancho Cotati this week. So El Cerrito not on this poll. Yes, they're a good team. They got talent, but like I said earlier, rules are rules, and they broke them.
Yeah.
They broke the transfer rule. Officially, they're 1-6. They can't put them in.
They're gonna win league though.
They're gonna win league, but
They'll-
I don't think they will see the poll ever again. Unfortunately, they're 1-6.
Well, it's hard to.
What if they win a NorCal title? Does that change? If they're in the D2 bracket, does that change?
If they win the NCS title, no, they will not be in the poll. If they win the NorCal title, I will consider it. But until we get to the NorCal round, they will not see the poll.
You just gotta remember they put up a fight against De La Salle.
They
that's
absolutely
great.
did. But again, this goes back to my question I mentioned earlier: is what happens to these athletes, the unnamed ones that are eligible or ineligible, that were a part of this?
So I
and
think
it doesn't fall on them because this falls
No.
on, without a doubt, coaching. And I feel very bad for these kids that this has happened to them, and now they're faced with this, right? Because they're a good team. But how many of these kids are affected by this? Where do they continue to play? Are they suspended? Are they not? Truthfully, I think the rules are very clear. That has been a rule for a long time. You transfer
Yes.
at the high school level,
Yeah.
that is well known. So that tells me, by my intuition, that coaching, athletic directing, whoever, even though it's one person, you said allegedly, not allegedly, but the point is that it falls. The rules are clear. And so you made a decision knowing that, I feel like.
Why is this starting to become an issue? It's not just El Cerrito. Didn't Oakland Tech have a situation for girls
Yes, they did,
basketball
last
last year?
yes, they did. I think they had forfeited like half of their season or something like that for playing, and it's just so unfortunate. But
Right.
I think different sections have different rules for transfer stuff.
Rules
so
are rules.
but again, like I said,
But there's never a
rules are rules.
circumstance that you could transfer and play right away. It doesn't matter. Yeah, there's a certain the rules vary by leagues and
Yes.
whatnot, how many games. But you can't come in week 1. Oh, you just transferred. Oh, you're going to go week 1. It has never been the case ever.
So, like I said, man, rules are rules, and unfortunately, they broke the transfer rule. And
Yeah.
hey, man, I know you guys beat Amador Valley, and you guys beat Man, hey, shout out to Oakland Tech. They officially beat El Cerrito, I guess. Not in the ideal way, but in the
Yeah.
record books, it is a win for Oakland Tech. It is a win for Amador Valley. It's a win for Monterey Trails. So, and don't forget that 6th game that they forfeited, they beat St. Mary's of Berkeley 55-0. And officially, St. Mary's of, I don't know if it's Berkeley or Albany, St. Mary's officially beat El Cerrito 2 weeks ago.
I still think El Cerrito's fine. They're gonna dominate.
Oh, no,
league.
they'll be fine, and
They're
they're gonna win
dominate league. They're gonna be in the postseason. We just don't know if it's gonna be the Open D1 bracket or if they're gonna
They're
be
gonna stay
in D2 like they were last year when they went on to win a section title. But that's all the time we have for you. Thank you for joining us, and I think it's safe to say that you've been covered.